Hello, hi, and good morning. My name is Aldrich, also known as Tyler, and I am joined here by. Really? Really?
You're
It's a
like
great
that.
start.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I was gonna go third, so I mean,
Yeah, that was my fault.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
It was kind
I
of.
needed. I don't know why I didn't. I was just like, I was like, yes. Okay. Yeah.
This
Sorry.
is staying in, by the way.
Great. Okay. Do over.
No do over. We're going off of
Oh, I'm
this.
just going straight out.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm keeping this in.
Okay. Yeah. My name is Abel Velasquez. Abel V127 on pretty much all platforms.
and I am Peter, also known as Petor to those in the know.
All right, now that we got those bumpy introductions out of the way. So, the topic of this video will be the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes. There isn't a set in stone release date for them yet, but we all know it's coming. Everyone wants it. What do you guys? I guess the first topic is what do you guys think? Like when do you guys think the Diamond and Pearl remakes are gonna come out? You think it's gonna be this year, next year? You think it's gonna come out at all?
Well, I was just reading about the DLC for Sword and Shield, which reminded me that Nintendo can still print money from Pokemon for the next year or so. So I would say next year at the earliest.
That is very true. Abel?
Yeah, I think I would agree. I think because they're doing the expansion stuff, and that's gonna come out, I think, a few days from now, right?
It's I think the 16th of June, so a couple days, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think with that, well, it sort of depends. I think they've been working on new stuff for it, but then they've also had stuff already made for it beforehand. So it's kind of, diverted their attention. But I think it's difficult because they basically have said that they were going to make the remakes, but they haven't really like actually designed anything. So they haven't had like any artwork or any like poster made for it. So I think what they're right now, they're probably in like the idea stage of like what they're gonna do with the story and all that. So I think with the state of things now, I would say optimistically, you could say maybe next year during the spring, but even then, I think that's still going to be really a short turnaround time. I would say if it's going to come out next year, I would say around November, kind of when Sword and Shield came out. Um,
As far as I know, all the Pokemon games have come out in November. Sorry to cut you off, but I just wanted to add that little tidbit.
Yeah.
All like the main Pokemon games have come out in November.
So yeah, that makes sense, I think, because it's like before kind of in the holiday season, so it not only makes sense timetable wise, but I think knowing how marketing works, it would make sense for them to do that.
Well, I think yeah, we'll probably see the remakes next year, not this year. As Peter said, they definitely have DLCs that can be made for Sword and Shield, and people will still buy them. And in terms of them working on the remakes, I feel like they've already started, and it's probably a good way through. Reason for that being the Sword and Shield DLCs were already there, like in the game, if that makes sense. So, like all the Pokemon that the DLC kind of unlocks, was already like in the coding. There's this one video that I saw that had And this guy like going through the code and tried to summon, like forcefully summon out like specific Pokemon that weren't in the game, and some worked and some didn't. And so those were like the DLC Pokemon. So I feel like they have all the DLC stuff already done and made. If they're gonna add any more, I'd probably say it'd be kind of more towards November or December, where they would release it. So it's been about like 6 months since Sword and Shield was released. So if they were to make another one, it'd definitely be around that time.
Yes,
Right.
but let's point out that it's been 6 long months. The coronavirus, you know, I'm not saying that now the remakes are going to include a Pokérus epidemic, but that might have slowed things down a little bit. If
I think
Yeah.
Let's just call it the Pokerus pandemic instead of like the actual virus.
yeah.
Everyone just gets the Pokerus status.
that's right, so our effort values increase better, right?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, another topic I wanted to talk about was one of the bigger topics I really like to talk about is just like in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I think they did that remake. Whoops. I think they did that remake really well. One of my favorite parts about it was the Delta episode, where it had like a side story for Rayquaza and Zinnia. I really want them. I'm not saying that they're going to, but I really want them to make kind of like a Delta episode in Diamond and Pearl, because I highly doubt they'd make a Platinum. Have a Delta episode in Diamond and Pearl and have that be about either Giratina or Arceus. What I kind of want to see myself would be both of them, since they're both kind of big in the lore. Arceus not as much. Like he's not as big talked about in the games. He's like the Mew or Mewtwo of this one. Like rarely ever talked about, but still.
Well,
fun
they
Pokemon
can't
to
talk
get.
about him because if someone says God in Pokemon, that'd be inappropriate to say.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I just think with the amount of like the progress that Game Freak has made over the past 13 years, because I think Diamond and Pearl came out in 2007.
Yes.
Like it's just insane, because you look at like the cutscenes for Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, and it looks so good. And it's like have like a Delta episode in Diamond and Pearl that's kind of like the movie, to where it's like Palkia and Dialga and Giratina just end up facing against Arceus. Like I feel like that'd
you're
be an
right.
Awesome cutscene.
Yeah, no, I think one of the criticisms of Sword and Shield was that Game Freak was not really, they made a 3DS game on high level, hardware. So on the hardware that Breath of the Wild is on, right? And they made kind of 3DS looking game. But hey, thinking back to the Arceus event in Heart Gold, right, which involved
Yes.
real photos, which is one of the creepiest things in Pokemon.
It was
also
insane.
One of the most awesome.
It was the only, it's the only time that real pictures were ever added into the Pokemon games.
Oh, no kidding? Man, what does that mean? Like what is the, I don't know, man.
Well,
Because there's some,
In the
I've seen some
Arceus made literally everything.
so
Like,
including
he
the real
was
world.
God. Including the real. Well, technically to them it is the real world. I just think that Game Freak just kind of added that in just to make it more like a god feeling. To make it
Maybe.
more like, oh, he is God. Like he's even like projecting the outside world into this one. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that, I don't know, that like a fourth wall breaking type of thing.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, but that goes to show the creative power of Game Freak. even though I think the most recent games have more I don't know. There's something to be said about the Pokemon Platinum Generation 4 lore compared to the most recent ones. Which, hey, here's a question, right? So in Generation 7, which was not as cool as Generation 4.
Which one was Generation 7? Was that Sun and Moon, or was that Sword and
Exactly.
Shield?
See, I had to think about that because it wasn't. It was just Sun and Moon, right? But the Ultra Beast, dimensional beings and all that.
Yeah, I
I
thought
wonder.
that concept was kind of cool. And
Yeah, me too,
technically
yeah.
The whole the different dimensions thing, that Necrozma and the other Ultra Beasts, it explains like the whole different universes, like explained in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Like
Oh,
how
right,
the
yeah.
comet was coming towards them, and they're just like, "Oh, we can just zap it out of here by teleporting it somewhere else." But then they talk about like, "Oh, what if it teleports it to another world that doesn't have our technology to defend ourselves?" Which they were referencing the original Ruby and Sapphire.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very fascinating, but I feel like they could have done so much better with the whole ultra wormholes or whatever those are called.
Yes, Ultra wormholes. Because if you just put Ultra in front of things, so Ultra
That-
Pokemon.
That was
Different.
literally their Ultra Pokemon. That is Game Freak's way of saying that they ran out of ideas for Sun and Moon.
Hey, that makes me think of a question that you'd asked before this podcast, which was, what special stuff are they going to include in this game, like Mega Evolutions or Z moves
Yes, yes.
or Gigantamaxing?
So that question, just to kind of say it again, is: would you guys rather see Mega Evolution, Z moves, Dynamaxing, or something completely new? I highly doubt they'll do something new for the remakes, mainly because there's really no need to. Because I feel like, well, my stance on this is the very first Primal evolution, because we had the Primal evolution for Kyogre and Groudon back in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. The very first Primal evolution, or reversion, I guess, was Dialga in the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Time and Darkness. So Dialga had a primal form before even Kyogre and Groudon.
Oh, that's right. It was with the orange lines on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, orange Dialga.
So my question is, would they do something like that again? To where if Dialga and Palkia hold the Gracious and Adamant Orb, I think it was what it was called, like the orb specific for them, would they primal revert back to their state? Which again is something like they can totally mess with for the story and then make it like really interesting. Because like if if you give them their orbs and they become like primal revert, then they'd go on like a rampage, and that's what causes them to go wild on top of a spear pillar. Anyways, like, you guys answer this. I kind of talked a little bit too much on that one.
No, you're good. I don't know, Abel. What do you think?
Yeah, I think overall, I don't know. It's interesting because I think Game Freak sort of I feel like they have a complicated relationship with the Mega Evolutions because they include them in the remakes because it's a way to revisit an old game but make it new and fresh. And so when they did it in when did they first did it for
X and Y.
Yeah, X and Y is when Mega Evolution came out.
and so then when they did it for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, I think it just exploded because, I mean, you were having very popular Pokemon get kind of newer designs. Some got newer type matchups, stuff like that. That basically made them a lot cool, um, cooler and a lot more impressive. And so I think for them to do Mega Evolutions, I think it would be uh, pretty easy in the sense that it's the way to, I think, to please the most amount of people.
Mhm.
Um, because I think I don't think anybody would really be upset with Mega Evolutions, um, given of the options that they have. Um, I think with Dynamaxing, um, I think what made Sword and Shield really cool was that when you were in like the arenas, the stadiums, I think were such a really cool and unique part of the game. And I think when you go to like gyms, for example, gyms, at least on the DS, were just like a house. Like it was just like a building.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so it feels weird to do like the Dynamaxing part of it
Right, right.
unless they're gonna redesign all the gyms to look
And that
similar to what they did in Sword and Shield, which I guess wouldn't be bad because I think again, like I actually like that. I like the elements because when they do Dynamax, although if they were to do that, my biggest complaint, and it's one of the complaints I think most Pokemon fans have, is just the Gigantamaxing, or I don't know how you want to call it.
Gigantamaxing.
Right. Like I think
It's
it's so
basically
incredible. It's basically like shiny Pokemon, but on steroids because you don't know what Pokemon's a shiny like by looking at it
right.
until you Dynamax it. So yeah, it's very weird. I think if they were gonna do that, they would have to change like that part of it. Like they would have to make it so more Pokemon can be both.
Yeah,
Um,
my main complaint about that, about Dynamaxing and whatnot, is it's literally Mega Evolution, but it doesn't change anything about the Pokemon except for its appearance, and it may have um, like one like move that's like specific for it if it's Gigantamaxed,
right.
and its moves are a bit more powerful, but at the same time, Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing is only for like what 2 3 turns.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is like the 3 turns. It goes by very quickly. Um, so I don't know if you were to up it to like 5 turns, maybe it could be better. Well, that's the cool thing about Mega Evolutions is
Yeah,
that
it
you have the
stays the entire
opportunity.
time.
You're right, but your cap on it is that you can only use it on one Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the balance Mega Evolutions played, where I think Dynamaxing they were kind of like, well, how do we like not make it OP for them to just abuse the Dynamaxing?
Right.
Which, given us like certain Pokemon matchups, like it doesn't really matter because there are some Pokemon that can completely take hits from Dynamax Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some Pokemon that aren't Dynamax that can just one hit KO Dynamax Pokemon. So like I think the balance system isn't 100% there. So sometimes when you have like the 3 turn limit or whatever, it like it doesn't really do I think what they intended it to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think I could see them go either way on that, but at the same time, I don't know. I think for them to revisit, and I think they also want to start making more Pokemon, or at least not more Pokemon, but like bringing old Pokemon back into the games.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody is obviously upset about the national decks, and I think for them, um, it's important for them to because they have to individually design and animate all prior Pokemon into the Switch versions of the
Right.
games.
And it's kind of like it's they'll eventually have all the Pokemon.
think
I
so.
can understand why they didn't do it in Sword and Shield because again, like you said, it's literally have to redesign like almost all of the Pokemon in the
800
Switch
or
version.
yeah.
It's over 1,000 now, isn't it? With Sword and
Counting Sword and
Shield,
Shield or
yeah,
without Sword and Shield?
counting
Yeah.
Sword and Shield, it's like over
So
a
yeah,
thousand.
it would have been at least 1,000 Pokemon.
It's well, I'm looking at Wikipedia right now and it says 896.
Okay.
We're close. We're
Yeah.
just shush. Um, um, and it's like yeah, I can get why Game Freak didn't code them all in, and I don't blame them for it. I don't mind that they didn't do it. I can understand where the frustration comes because it's like, oh, my favorite Pokemon didn't make it into the game, and
Right.
so what's the point of even getting it? Is Lucario? Because as you know, like Lucario is my favorite Pokemon.
Yeah.
Is Lucario even in Sword and Shield?
He is.
Okay, I just
I
don't
have
remember. I haven't played the game in a while.
I what was really funny is because I didn't know Lucario. I was looking through lists because I was like, I wonder what Pokemon I could make a team,
Mhm.
and it said that Lucario was in the game, and I was like, Lucario's in the game? I was like, when? And I was like, where? So I found this video, um, that like was like where to find Rilu because you can't find Lucario in the wild. Um, so you have to evolve him. But yeah, I was able to find him and then catch him. So he is in the game.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, shoot, I missed out then.
Hey,
Time to
you know,
play
I
through the
gotta say,
entire game.
that this discussion of, you know, Gigantamax or Mega Evolution or, that sort of thing. Um, and my thought is, I remember reading like I don't know if it was an article online or in the Nintendo Power magazine when I was a kid, but one of the designers mentioned that the theme of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl was the ultimate, because you had the ultimate Pokemon that commanded time and space and Arceus, and um, they they saw like the global trade system as the ultimate evolution of the Pokemon battling and trading, because of the global thing. And so I'm thinking, well, what's the ultimate version of Mega Evolution or Z moves or whatever? Why not all three at once? So you've got Arceus and it can Gigantamax and
You
Mega
see,
Evolve
the
and use
issue.
Z moves. I think honestly, that's the future of Pokemon right there.
That
Mega
would be
Evolved
one.
Gigantamax Z move Arceus.
That would
It
be
takes
one
20
hell
minutes.
of a god Pokemon.
Yes, and I mean, yeah, I remember when Mega Rayquaza, because you mentioned the Delta episode, and Mega
Right, right.
Rayquaza in Generation 6, and that came out, and I heard in competitive battling, that single Pokemon got its own tier. And then,
Mm-hmm.
like, Ultra Necrozma, right, gets its own tier. And at that point, it's getting a little boring. But what if every single Pokemon can Gigantamax and Mega Evolve and use Z moves?
Well, the issue with that is again they'd have to remodel almost every Pokemon to make it so they can mega evolve, and then have like a bigger version of that on top of have its own Z move. Um, and in the games of Sun and Moon, I don't know if either of you have played Sun and Moon. You have to find. It's either you have to find the Z. I think they're called Z shards. Um, it's basically just like finding the Mega Stones.
Oh, right, yeah, yeah.
It's either given to you or you have to go find them. That's the only complaint. Is there's 800 Pokemon. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
um, yeah, so I don't see them doing all of that anytime soon. I don't know, the most likely of the three would be Mega Evolution, but you also have to think they would probably have to Mega Evolve the starters. How would you evolve the starters even further than Empoleon, Torterra, and Infernape? Because you have Torterra, like, I can see how you can do it with him, but how would you go with Empoleon and Infernape?
You mean
They-
Gigantamaxing?
Mega Evolution.
Mega Evolution, yeah. Well, Infernape, he's like a sage. Yeah, I've seen some artwork, and like, he's like that kung fu master. So you just get a regular Infernape, but you put a stick in his hand, and then he's like
He's a Jedi.
Master Shifu, you know. And then Empoleon, that's also, I think if you ever seen the movie March of the Penguins,
Uh-huh.
and they have kids and it transforms their lives, it's the same thing with humans, that unleashes their true potential. So Empoleon, it's the same Pokemon, but with one or two eggs,
Well,
just like Mega Kangaskhan,
Yeah,
It-
I don't know.
it-
It would be
yeah.
very interesting to see. Then again, another option is to not have any of them.
that is an option, but I don't, Tyler. I feel that, you know, um, Gigantamax Mega Evolution Z moves is, they've been laying out the pieces in front of us, and this is what it's been heading towards.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even think a lot of these makes me sound old when I say this, but I don't think the kids of nowadays really understand the original Pokemon games, where you actually had to sit there and train with your team for a long time without Mega Evolution or Z moves or
Right,
a cool
right.
giant form.
And it didn't even look as good because we only had sprites. Wasn't even,
Right.
yeah. And Diamond and Pearl, yeah, this is something I want to talk about. Diamond and Pearl were super slow. Like as much as I like those games, we were talking earlier about.
And
Um,
that's one of the appeals to Diamond and Pearl for me, is because there's so much to play through. Like it is slow, but at the same time, I enjoyed like every minute of it.
Well, yeah, I know what you mean, but I was talking about the battle system, right? Like um, the HP bar moves at a snail's pace.
Oh, yeah. Because am I wrong? Or was that Gen 5? I know there was one
Both
where,
Gen Black and White did the same thing. It was very slow in terms of battling
of leveling up, because it was
and
like,
leveling up. Yeah, definitely
it was
leveling
like-
up for Black and White. I hated that.
Oh yeah, the grind is
I
real.
hated
in
trying
Black
to
and White.
grind in that game.
you basically can't get experience from Pokemon that you're stronger than.
Mm-hmm.
So like the game basically slows really, really terribly. But yeah, I think, yeah, it is tough. Well, one of the other things, if we're talking about negatives, one of the things that I always was sort of tough on Diamond and Pearl was it doesn't have a large selection of like,
Fire types.
yeah, it it's very limited in terms of the
Yeah.
fire Pokemon you can have. So like if you don't have Infernape at the beginning, it sort of shoots you in the foot. I think Black and White did the same thing, where it's like they were
Black
like,
and White did the same thing. Oh yeah.
it was like
Eh.
fire Pokemon. What's that?
Yeah,
like-
yeah. It's
It's like, guys, you have an Ice Gym in this game. I think you need to be a little bit more generous with the amount of fire Pokemon you have.
oh my gosh. In the original Black and White, I'm trying to think back now, and I think the only two fire types you could have gotten early on was either Tepig or Panseer.
Yeah,
Like the only two, or else you were kind of just stuck, kind of going through the game without fire type for a while. Because I don't remember any other.
and we all know Panseer was in like for a while.
No, I mean Incinerate's pretty good because it like burns up the berry the other Pokemon's holding, but the chance of them actually holding a berry, if you're not against another gym, or if you're not against the gym leader, the chance of them holding a berry is like slim,
Yeah.
and it doesn't do like all that much damage, but eh.
Well, speaking of that gameplay, are they going to preserve the difficulty, or are they going to?
No. It's sad to
You
say.
don't.
I do not think they're going to have the difficulty in it, and I really, really want them to, but I feel like it's going to be a lot of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, to where like the original Ruby and Sapphire, like was a hell of a lot more difficult than Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire,
Yeah.
because that even had the EXP share. Whenever you played like Sceptile or Blaziken, it removed a lot of the weaknesses that those Pokemon had. Swampert's always been Swampert, like such an overpowered starter.
Right.
And I absolutely love Swampert, but Sceptile, like, well, this goes back to Mega Evolution. Sceptile Mega Evolved and became a grass slash dragon. And that removed some of his weaknesses. Also, was able to learn Dual Chop, which is a pretty good move on Sceptile, even without Mega Evolution. And then Blaziken, in Mega Evolution form, gains the ability. I don't remember what it's called, but like at the end of like the turn.
Oh,
has,
speed
like,
boost.
Speed
right?
boost, yes.
Yeah.
It gains a little bit of speed.
Yeah.
Like,
So
in
by the
Mega
end of the
Evolution,
battle,
it
it's-
always has that. Yeah.
yeah. Hey, speaking of which, that Mega Evolutions, that reminded me of in Generation 4, the first ones, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, they introduced all those new evolutions to like there was
Electivire and Magmortar.
yes, yeah, but also like Magnezone and Gallade and
Oh yeah.
Gliscor. And a lot of these evolutions weren't even available until after you beat the game, like in Diamond and Pearl,
Right,
and then
right.
that changed. But
Yeah.
I don't know, that makes me think that it would make sense for them to use Mega Evolutions as like the key thing. Except
Yeah.
we've moved past that, like that's so 2015,
Well, another thing about Mega Evolution is Lucario was literally the poster child for Mega Evolution in X and Y. They had a giant statue of his Mega Evolution form in the Tower of Evolution.
That's right, yeah.
And Diamond and Pearl is where Lucario first actually came into the game. So that's why I'm kind of leaning more towards it's probably going to have Mega Evolution. And they may have like a different. They're probably going to have like a different event for him. I still think it's probably going to be on Iron Island. But
Yeah,
we'll have
yeah,
to
no,
see.
I'm sure that you'll enjoy it, Tyler, because like you said, that Generation 4 is the origin of Lucario. So
Yeah,
I feel like they have to celebrate Lucario and his many fans of all types.
I even
in the
have
world.
a hat with Lucario on it that I got
You
like
see,
a week ago.
there you go. I mean, I can't understand that. Obviously, the appreciation I have for like Gallade is far
Oh.
pure. Yeah,
I'll get you like a shirt that has Gallade on it.
that would be pretty cool. Hey, let me tell you, Gallade with Swords Dance and Drain Punch. That
It's
is
so overpowered.
yes. Well, no, exactly as powered as Gallade should be. Which is overpowered. But yeah.
I already got Abel a Mudkip, so he's fine in that department.
Mudkips.
Yeah.
Okay.
Abel, you like Mudkips?
I do like mudkips. I'm a big fan of mudkips.
Are you sure?
I have them right here.
Are you-
actually.
Hey, the one I got you like what 2 years ago?
Yes.
But yeah, that's another thing I was thinking of. After I said Iron Island, I kind of just remembered it. The Full Moon Island and the what was that other one called? The one with Cresselia and Darkrai. Like those
It couldn't
events?
have been Crescent Moon Island, was it?
It may have been. I don't remember.
Half Moon Island. But yeah, hey, that's a good point because you mentioned the Delta episode, which made Deoxys available outside of an event. So I
Right.
wonder if like Darkrai, an extremely popular Darkrai and Shaman, which were
I love Darkrai. He's like probably
Yeah.
my third favorite Pokemon.
yeah, I wonder because a lot of people, Darkrai is one of their favorite Pokemon. If that's going to be a thing where they make Darkrai a regular Pokemon, or will it be Arceus? Will Arceus be?
Well,
You know.
from what I know, or from what I'm probably gonna guess, they're gonna have Deoxys. They're probably gonna have Darkrai be like what Deoxys was in the Delta episode, and just have him be kind of like on the side, just there, able for you to catch, but actually possible to do it without an event. And I really think the Delta episode for Diamond and Pearl remakes has got to be like Giratina and Arceus. That is my
Yeah,
hope.
I would agree, and I hope so because of the lore, right? The
It's so good. I love the lore for this game, for these games.
yeah, I remember reading that with the with the ultimate aspects and with like the whole higher dimensions stuff going on
Mhm.
that I'm looking at the thumbnail of the video you share, which is an extremely important video, which compares 21 guns to Route 209. But anyways, Giratina, the character design with the six um, six tentacles, six little rib cage things, and I
Mhm.
remember reading that that's could be interpreted as a reference to like 666, as in Giratina, which is the banished snake creature or whatever, is comparable to Satan, right? And of course, Arceus, you know, is like God. So I wonder if they could do some real, no, I don't want to say biblical, but like the storyline between the storyline that would have to exist for a Delta episode of that sort would be maybe it's Paradise Lost. They just put in medieval poetry as a Pokemon event in a game.
They could. There's so much they can do with this, and that's why I'm like really excited for it. I'm trying to think. Have I missed any different topics? I think I talked about all the ones.
I think the underground.
Oh,
right?
The underground.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so as we all know, the underground, at least for me, was a really fun experience while playing Diamond and Pearl, mainly because of the whole underground base, like digging for stuff. Like I absolutely loved that. In the remakes, do you guys think they should just not have it, or bring it back and like really kind of go all out with it to where like you can kind of build your own underground instead of just like a secret base? I think that would probably be really cool.
Wait, build an underground.
Yeah, basically have the same underground as the original kind of Diamond and Pearl, but have it to where you can make like a kind of like a bigger base, not like a small little hole in the side of the mine, and that'll be your base. But I'm talking about like take out like plots, and then make your own kind of like underground area. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I mean, with the higher technology of the 2020s, right? I mean,
It could totally be done.
yeah, which I mean, the underground was like an open world in a way. I mean, it was just a few hallways, but uh, I wonder if, yeah, I'm wondering if maybe um, the wild area in Sword and Shield with all the Pokemon and then like the multiplayer aspect, maybe that was a test for what they could do with maybe making Sinnoh the underground. Like
That would
to
be
have
very interesting to have like every route underground.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if it could be done. People have wanted like a massively multiplayer Pokemon game. So if you could like choose to have other
Well,
trainers.
the thing about Sword and Shield is that is technically massive multiplayer in the wild area. But the reason that lagged so much is because it had not only all of the players and all of like their campgrounds, it had all the Pokemon spawning, and all the Pokemon basically had to be in sync with every player, and everyone entering like raid battles. Everything like that just made it lag way too much. And the thing with the underground is, I can kind of agree with you with that. It'd be really cool to see. It wouldn't have Pokemon in it roaming around. If your Pokemon can follow you, that'd be pretty interesting.
Yes, hey man, that is Generation 4. I loved that in Pokemon Heart Gold. Also the
It's so
Pokewalker.
good.
If they bring
I
back
still
the
have mine.
if they bring back the Pokewalker, man,
I doubt it, but I mean, it'd be interesting.
I believe in hope. That's what the world needs right now. It actually was one of the most accurate pedometers at the time.
That it was.
Yeah, and it could train your Blastoise. So there you go.
Abel, what do you think about the underground? What do you want for it?
Um, yeah, I think they'll probably include it. I think if you look at Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, pretty much everything about that game was pretty much preserved. Um, the changes that they really made, other like the Mega Evolution and that storyline, um, I think aesthetics wise, everything was relatively the same. The only main difference was Maulville.
Mm.
Um, so and then changing it into a mall uh, was an interesting choice. Uh,
It fit the name a lot more. It didn't. It didn't look
Mall,
like a
yeah.
dumbed down version of Slateport.
yeah,
Because in the original
yeah,
game, it looked just like Slateport. It's the buildings, different area.
right. So I could see them, you know, do that in the sense that they could make the underground and, like you said, I think it's they're it seems like they're trying to make Pokemon like more easy accessible to connect players. So I could see
Mm.
it be like an underground thing with other players and you try and find stuff. Um, and so I could see them just do that. Um, and it turn out pretty well. Um, I think the changes that they'll make are largely going to be story stuff.
Mm.
Um, maybe they'll change a few locations in the sense that they'll move things around or just change aesthetics wise. Because obviously, when you jump to the next graphics, I think that's another thing that I really enjoyed of Sword and Shield is that I think all the towns were so were so well distinct. Um, every area was very different from each other, um, and it set the tone for where you were.
Mm.
And I think Sinnoh, you know, they have pretty neat locations. I think Snow Point for me always stood out because it was the first ice gym. I remember going into it and I was like, "Whoa, this is cool!" And it's like snowing and it's like, all this and that. I think they're gonna have the roaming around. I think that's another thing that they're gonna keep. They're gonna keep kind of the Pokemon being able to roam around the area.
I
I
think
think
that's
that's
a pretty good feature.
Hey,
I
yeah, I
like
but
it.
are they gonna redesign the? No, now I'm wondering because like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, at that point they were still going with the whole, um, like tile based world, where everything was, you know, four directions,
Mm.
and then like Sun and Moon became, I don't know the game terms, but it was like analog,
uh huh,
and now, of course, Sword and Shield was, 3D, fully 3D with moving around and
right.
so Sinnoh would need to be completely redesigned, I guess, because I'm thinking about like HM moves, and how that blocks certain things.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean because, like, yeah, it's the change of technology.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think yeah, that's basically what I was trying to get at. They would have to redesign every town, and I would hope that they would choose to, make them all stand out, keep the things that made those towns good, and if some, weren't memorable, they could do things to like make them, improve. And I think that's what the remasters or the remakes are kind of for. They're to go back and they know what they did that fans liked a lot, but they also know the things that, maybe at the time they were like, oh, we should, do it this way. And then they realize that maybe that should be changed or that should look different. And I think that's probably what they'll do. Um,
Mm.
the approach for this is just looking at the settings, looking at everything, making sure everything looks nice. I think they're gonna have to put clothes customization, so they have to redesign everything. They're
Well,
gonna have to add stores and stuff. I think. More
They
than like,
had the clothes customization on X and Y, and then Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire came after that. The reason why they didn't have it then is because they wanted to keep, at least from what I know, they wanted to keep the main character, just the basic main character, because that's more true to, you know, the original.
right.
I don't know, Diamond and Pearl, they could. I always love the character customization.
Uh-huh.
And I'm a fan of it, but for the remakes, I feel like they should probably just keep with the basic kind of person.
Well, I think it's also part of being iconic.
Right,
Because
right.
Dawn is iconic. Like, it's an iconic character. She was in the show. She was in the anime. Like, people like her.
Oh, yeah.
So it's obvious that they were to make that change. I mean, I don't know. It would be interesting if they pulled for it. Like, if they were like, would fans like the idea of being able to customize their own character or not? But I could also see where they're just like, we'll keep it the same.
Mhm.
Also, just in the sense of like it being easier to design everything. You just have the one character, so you don't have to animate the same scene with different, characters. But I don't know. I like the clothes customization. I would be upset if they did that. Um, but yeah, I could also see why they maybe wouldn't if
Mhm.
they felt that too many people would be like, oh no, I guess disappointed. Although I feel like the other thing that they could do is just have like a Dawn character sprite in the sense that like if you really wanted to just be Dawn or the original
You can
character,
choose an option
you
to do
could,
that.
yeah, that's an option you can choose to do.
Interesting.
Um, and that way you can um, just make both sides, happy. It's an easy, I guess, um, like compromise. Um, and that way, I think you get the size of both things pretty well.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we get to still have the dorky looking hat for the male character. I think, you mentioned that Dawn is iconic for the anime, but for me, that scarf. Well, I think that was maybe the reason that the male character has the scarf. I think Dawn has the same thing too. I've never played as any of the female characters, but
She does.
like,
She does,
yeah, in Diamond and Pearl, the scarf following your character when he runs. Like, I wonder if some um, Nintendo tech guy was like, okay, we got to show off the power of the Nintendo DS system. And they're like, we can have a scarf moving around as the character runs. And it's like, holy cow, we can do that now. So um, I'm hoping that's, because I think that as much as I do want to see like new stuff in the games, keeping the charm and the spirit of the originals, like maximizing the nostalgia factor, I think
Right.
that's where I think that would be ideal and probably where Nintendo would get the most money printing out of it.
Yeah, and that's what I like so much about Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is they didn't take away from the story; they added more to it, and I love that. And that's what I want. That's what I kind of want them to do for Diamond and Pearl, is like they keep the story, but they just add in more. Like if they add in the storyline of Darkrai, Cresselia, do a bit more with the lake spirits like Yuxi, Misprit, and Azelf, to have them kind of forge more of like a bond with you rather than you just being a spirit pillar and then they show up.
Hey,
and
yeah,
they stop it.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea. And like those, you know, with the whole thing about those Pokemon specifically, their whole thing is like, inner mind or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
With
There's
those.
willpower, spirit, and mind. I think that was what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense you can't remember the other one because I remember Azelf was
Knowledge.
knowledge. See, there you go. Because apparently, Yuxi, I think that's the yellow
Yuxi,
one
the
with the.
yellow one was
Yeah.
knowledge. Azelf was willpower, and Misbit was being.
Yes, I remember the Pokédex entry for Yuxi, the one of knowledge, is if you touch it, you're gonna
It
um,
erases your memories.
erase your memories. That's why you couldn't remember it, Tyler.
Yeah. It's funny in the mystery dungeon game. That's actually one of the plot points.
Oh, well,
'Cause
really?
I think that the main character thinks that Yuxi was the one who erased his memories.
That is you mentioned those games, and wasn't that also like, um, the one with Primal Dialga in it?
That was the one with Primal Dialga. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So, hey, are they gonna remake those?
Well, they already remade Pokemon Mystery Dungeon
First
Red Rescue
one.
Team.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Red and
right.
blue, yeah.
It was so good. Oh, I loved it.
I'm playing my way through it.
How do you like it so far?
Pretty good. I don't know what it is. Like, I tried to play it on the DS, and I think because I'm so used to Pokemon being a certain way, I was kind of like, I wasn't like turned off, but I was kind of like, this is different, and so,
You
and
weren't
just
as
because there's
interested.
yeah, I wasn't as interested, but I like the art design a lot. I love how it's colorized. Um, like I love the aesthetic of the game a lot more.
Mm.
I like the character selection. They have a wide spread of characters you can pick, basically. Um, and so, yeah, I think it's great. Um, yeah.
Um, I was just trying to think of different topics I haven't gone over yet. You guys have anything you want to talk about the remakes?
The music, I hope they don't change too much about the
They're
music.
they're gonna redo them, but they're not gonna change very much of it. If it's gonna be like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire or the new Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game
It'll be the same.
remake, it's gonna be the same.
Yeah.
Because for the Mystery Dungeon game, it sounds like they just literally ported it over.
Yeah.
But I turned on both the games and put them side by side, and it's like, yeah, they definitely changed it. But when you're actually in the game, it's I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's changed. It just feels nostalgic.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they're gonna change too much about the actual songs.
Yeah. That makes
I
sense.
hope not, because for me that's it. That was a huge.
The soundtrack
I don't
is so
know.
good.
Yeah, well, especially the Pokemon Center Night theme. That was actually, now that I think about it, that was one of the big things that, um, in Generation 5, the music would change based on the seasons, but in Diamond and Pearl, it changed based on day or night, the music.
Yeah.
So
And in
yeah,
Platinum, I don't know if it did it in Diamond and Pearl, but I know in Platinum, there was different Pokemon in the routes during day and night.
oh right, yeah, yeah.
Because you'd see like a lot more Noctowls or Ghastly, stuff like that in the different routes. And
Yeah,
I
kind of.
appreciated that. That was good attention to detail.
Uh-huh. I feel like they kind of changed it around in Sword and Shield, where it's isn't the time of day set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. One big thing that I just now remembered. You guys remember the Pokewatch or the Poketech?
Yes.
Yes, the Poketch. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I want to see it back because I did love the uses for it, but I don't see a way they could actually do that. You know?
Wait.
It's not, there's no two screens.
Interesting. What
I
do you
mean-
think they're gonna do about HMs? Because for Let's Go Pikachu, they opted to well,
They
in the
had
original
the
Yellow they did that, right? You didn't have HMs.
yeah, no, in
Did
the original
Uh,
Yellow you didn't have HMs, I don't think. I haven't played Yellow in forever.
I feel like with Sword and Shield, they went more of a direction where it was like you don't really need HMs. And I
Which
think
I loved. Like I
it's kind of a
appreciate
plus.
not having to.
I think people are sort of because the hard thing about HMs is like it sucks that you have to waste a slot of your move set
Mhm.
to have to do something to the environment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think they're trying to move
Want to
away
do
from
HMs.
HMs.
Just because I don't think people would be angry if they did that, because I don't know a single person that's like, damn it, like I love my HMs. Like everybody.
I will make the case for HMs. Because Bidoof, right? Like, what was Bidoof good for in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl? He was, what people call, the HM Pokemon. He's the HM slave, and
Right.
so
Bidoof and
Pelipper.
Zigzagoon.
Linoon.
Yeah, Lanoon
That's
and
true.
Bibarel. Oh my gosh.
But poor Bibarel, Bibarel,
Yeah.
Bibarel, I think.
Bibarel.
Bibarel. Hey, but that like you journey with these Pokemon that you might not even use in battle, but they smash rocks for you. They move the big, weirdly all round boulders. That are just sitting there in the tunnels and surf. Like you
Right.
ride on their back, and so that I think that gets to the heart of Pokemon. That there are different Pokemon with different strengths, and your HM Pokemon is not going to be um, your like your starter Pokemon,
Right.
But
If it is, you're an idiot.
I feel this is an aside, but I feel that Sakura in Naruto is the HM Pokemon of Naruto. Don't quote me on that, but
Okay.
I mean you know what I'm talking about. That's
Oh, that's the best thing I've heard in a while.
you know it's true.
I know it is.
Yeah, that I think every anime has one, and in Sakura, she knows all the HM moves and nothing else.
Oh man, if Brandon was here, he would hate you.
Is he a big Sakura fan?
I think so. Yeah. Well,
Is he?
I think he is.
I wonder.
Just go ask him now.
You're probably
Well, deviating a bit from the HMs, because based on their track record for HMs, they got rid of them in the Let's Go games and Sword and Shield. So I
Yeah.
feel like they're trying to go away from it, which is good. So we'll just have to wait and see what they do with that.
Yeah.
Deviating a little bit from the remakes for just 1 second.
Mhm.
I've been wanting a game like this for a while, and I just kind of wanted to bring it up. I think it would be amazing. I highly doubt they would do this, but I think it'd be amazing that like they'd make a game, and it wasn't just about one or two legendaries like all the games are. Like, it's a game about a certain
Love and friendship.
a game about like a certain like team, like you know how we have like Team Magma, Team Rocket, Team Galactic, and whatnot, in like every game.
Sure. Yeah.
If there was a team that was out to get every legendary, and then tried to say rule the world or something like that, as teams do in Pokemon.
Yeah.
Except your more recent, which literally like they've gotten better with their kind of storytelling instead of just like, oh yeah, I wanted to rule the world. They've gotten better with it. But if there was a team that would just go around trying to collect these Pokemon, I'm not saying that it should do this, but it'd be really cool if you can go to like other points in different games. Like, say this was its own region, had its own places, and after a certain point, you can go through, say the Ultra wormholes, and you can go to Spear Pillar from the Sinnoh region, or the Cave of Origin from Ruby and Sapphire, or Inn's Castle from Black and White, and find these legendaries, or fight this team who's trying to get all the legendaries, and kind of like the big kind of finale of the game, or like the point like before you fight the Elite Four, like the very climax of it, it would be basically one team of legendaries, against this another team of legendaries, and just seeing like an all-out like battle between all of the legendaries in this like giant cutscene. I just thought it would, a game like that would be really cool.
I think that would coincide with the ultimate theme of like the Sinnoh remakes. You know, like that would have to be the last Pokemon game though, because how could you top that?
That is a good point. It would be very hard to top after that.
I thought
Unless the next game was the Mega Evolution Gigantamax Z one.
I thought what you were gonna say was that you were hoping that they would remake the Pokemon channel.
No.
Yeah. I thought that's what you were gonna say. So we could have like a remake where we just follow a Pikachu, and he leads us through, just some different TV channels.
That'll probably
No.
happen again eventually. Just give them time. It'll probably be like a YouTube kind of parody that they'll send you through.
Or like some Pokemon pals. That's a
Right,
good one.
right.
I was thinking, now that Sword and Shield ported to the Switch, we're never gonna get like a Pokemon like XD or like a Pokemon Coliseum style game, because that's what basically the main games are gonna be now,
Mhm.
where they're just gonna be console versions of what the mobile runs were. Because I remember playing like Gale of Darkness, and I loved it because I was like, "Oh my god, it's 3D!" Like
Right.
that idea was so like cool and unique, and like it was big Pokemon, and like they fought, and it was like really cool animation. Well, like it looks old now, but like back then it was just like cool animated.
Right.
And now, I mean, now it's just that's what the games are gonna be.
And that's why I think like just seeing like an all-out battle of like the legendaries. I know the movie. I don't remember the exact movie name, but it was one of the more recent ones with Hoopa in it. Hoopa and the Hoopa Unbound summoned a lot of the legendaries like Palkia, Dialga, Giratina.
Oh right, yeah.
Kyogre, Groudon, Rayquaza, Latios, Latias, and they all just kind of like duked it out in a fight, and it kind of ended with Arceus basically stopping it. Not in person, he didn't show up, but it was like it was kind of hinted that he was the one that kind of broke it up. You'd have to watch it. It's
Super
pretty
and
interesting.
The Clash of Ages.
That's what it is. Yep. Basically, that's what it would be about, but just like all sorts of legendaries. I don't know. I highly doubt they would do that because, like you said, Peter, it'd literally be like the game to end all games. It'd be like probably the best battle ever.
It would be. Hey, and that's a whole other thing. You mentioned, well, Abel, you were talking about the Pokemon, are like the Gale of Darkness and those ones, and
Yeah.
those ones were more. I feel those games had a higher level of story, and the character design was different and all that. And so I was
Yeah.
thinking to myself here, like, it'd be cool to have Sinnoh remakes, but to have like the art design totally different, to have like the Pokemon even look like more mature, because Pokemon fans are growing older, and a lot of nostalgia factor. Like the people who played Diamond and Pearl originally will be older. So if they had like Fire Emblem style character art, and
Oh, okay.
That'd be interesting.
I don't know. I just feel that would go really, like, I'm looking at the Pokemon Platinum cover with Giratina, and that's a pretty fierce looking Pokemon. Like you could put that into Fire Emblem, it would, So I'm just thinking if you had more mature art style, to go along with more, like all the Pokemon fighting each other, whatever. There's an opportunity here for not just nostalgia, but a recognition of players having more brain cells than. No, not that more mature art equates to, greater brain cells or whatever, but just that, players are older and can appreciate more than just the addictive nature of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we've been at this for about an hour. Is there anything else you guys kind of want to bring up before we head to a close here?
I would say that I know that a lot of Pokemon fans are frustrated right now, with
Mm-hmm.
Game Freaks over several decisions.
As they
With
kind of should. I've kind of been a little mad at them as well, but probably
yeah,
different reasons.
yeah. I mean, Pokemon Home and stuff like
That's a ripoff, but you know.
it's difficult because for them, they have a lot to do. They have a lot of Pokemon to add. They have a lot of Pokemon to bring back. They have a lot of animations to do. Um, and I think the Pokemon Company has obviously they have a bigger, at least a good enough team to make a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I think the remakes are going to be relatively good. I think the question will be sort of how much they're gonna change, what they're gonna add to the games, and if that'll hopefully satisfy the community, and
Mm-hmm.
also like how much it'll look to Sword and Shield, because I think graphically, some of the complaint there were some complaints for Sword and Shield that it still looked too cartoony, like
That's just how
wasn't
Pokemon is.
it wasn't like the jump that, I don't know, like if you compared it to like Odyssey, where I think Odyssey, there are a lot of like in the environment, the designs are very fine tuned. Um, and there are certain sections in Sword and Shield that are similar to that. But a lot of like the Pokemon and all their stuff are still very um, cartoon esque. And so I know that, you know, I wonder you know, if they'll ever even consider, you know, designing them differently or having more of a more realistic style for them. But I don't know. I think that's also asking somewhat
Yeah.
different for Nintendo because that's just not their style. Their
I'm
style
on
just isn't like that.
I'm on Game Freak side when it comes to that. I think that it's not Pokemon unless it looks cartoony. Because that's what Pokemon are. They're these cartoon like animals that you tend to grow an attachment to.
Hmm.
And
Well, do they have to
no
be
matter,
cartoon like?
well, do you want a
Because
hyper
missing though,
realistic
missing
Pikachu?
though is, I'd say missing though is glitch like Pokemon and not a cartoon. You know, just to put that out there.
I said we were saying cartoon like.
Cartoon like.
Yes. The I don't know. It's like I don't want it to be super realistic because it's Pokemon, and I didn't necessarily grow up with it being realistic. I can get why people want that. I just don't want it to get, too realistic, and it just looks really just stupid.
Hmm.
So I think that's probably why they don't want to do too realistic.
Well,
If that
yeah.
makes sense.
But I think a lot of people call them out on it because they're like, oh, well, you see these other games and they should probably be at the same scale or whatever. Because
Right.
I know I've read, or some people criticize that, they're like, oh, it's 2020 or whatever, and they still, look the same as they do in the DS. So it's like, you know, it's not the jump that it should have when you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about a portable console to a actual home console. So yeah, I don't know. It was just something that I was like, they're gonna even consider taking that into account, or if
Right.
they're just gonna stay the same kind of look that they've always kind of had.
Yeah. I don't know. It's I kind of want to see some graphical improvement, but at the same time, it's like I can understand why. Again, it's also the fact that they're adding every time they add new Pokemon, it's like 100 more they add.
Yeah,
150, 100 that
correct.
they usually add. So it's just like I can understand why. Um, but yeah, any more thoughts before we wrap this up?
I think we need to point out that um, Route 209 music sounds like Green Day's 21 Guns. What does this mean? We don't know. It's a 15-year-old mystery at this point. About 14, 13.
13.
Yeah, 13. Yes, okay. It's this means something to me.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyways, leaving on that note, I don't actually have an outro ready for this, so you guys want to take a crack at it, or should I just end it here?
Sure. Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you actually sat and listened to the whole thing, thank you very much. Hopefully everybody's having a good time. If you're a Pokemon fan and have your own suggestions or things that you hope to see in the game, leave some comments, wherever it is, and maybe we'll reply to them or bring them up in another podcast. Obviously, we want to thank Peter for being here, joining us in this discussion, a fellow Pokemon fan and a Gen 4
aficionado.
yeah.
Yes, aficionado. Gen 4 aficionado. I'll put that on my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is your title from now on. Whenever you join us in our podcast, you're Gen 4 aficionado.
I'll accept that, man. Let me tell you, 12-year-old Peter had some real good times with Diamond and Pearl and Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Like that.
Dude, didn't we all?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, but yeah, yeah, thanks for having me. And I have no message to our viewers except for the aforementioned 21 Guns mystery, and also be excellent to each other.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. That's a great thing to
Mhm.
lead off on.
Stay
And
safe.
then, of course, Tyler, you can say your name again.
Yep, I'm Aldrich, also known as Tyler.
And I think we're mostly able. Go by
Well, you're the only able.
what I mean is, yes, I am able. And I go by Able V127 on pretty much
Just
every
call him
type
Abel.
of
It's so much
platform.
easier to call him that.
So, yeah, thanks for joining us. Hopefully, you have a nice time. And hopefully, you join us again for our next podcast, where we probably discuss some more interesting stuff about some video games or shows or anime or whatever. If you would have any recommendations or things you would like us to talk about, please also put them in the comments, and we'll see you next time.